Hello guys who follow No Fanfares channel. This is Fake Flip once again, bringing some information about the ocean and how the oceans help us understand the real cosmology of Earth. So the tsunami, they're ocean waves just like any other ocean waves, only they're huge. Huge waves with super big wavelengths. Actually, the wavelengths of ocean waves are the longest wavelengths of nature. They can reach up to 500 kilometers on a straight line, and they're straight measurements of waves. How do the tsunami help us understand, and how do they prove that Australia is an island, but Antarctica is a border? How do they prove that? Well, when they reach these places, they behave in a different way. So when they reach Australia, they can actually diffract. Diffraction is a law of nature. And diffraction means wrapping around an obstacle and hitting the other side as if it were coming from the other side in an angle of 180 degrees. So the wave comes from one side, hits that side, but wraps, and hits the other side as well with less intensity, because diffraction is a destructive phenomenon, and hits the other side with less intensity, but does hit the other side. It happens to all waves of nature, not just ocean waves, but sound waves do the same. I'm pretty sure that many have already experienced the situation when the neighbor in front of our house is throwing a party, but we are in the backyard and we feel like the sound is coming from the back. We keep asking, well, where does the music come from? Where is it coming from? And we think that it's coming from the back street, for example. We think it's coming from the back, but it's actually coming from the front. So what happens is our house is the obstacle, and the sound waves that come from the front neighbor, the sound waves, they encounter our house, that's the obstacle, and they diffract, they wrap around all our house from the top of the house, the sides of the house, and hit us at the back of our backyard in an angle of 180 degrees. So it causes the impression that the sound is coming from the back, when in reality it's coming from the front. So this is called wave diffraction. And it happens as well to ocean waves. It happens to all waves, light waves as well. So it's the capacity of wrapping around an obstacle and hitting the other side with a bit less intensity, but in an angle of 180 degrees, causing the impression that it's coming from the other side. So when the tsunami of 2004, the Boxing Day tsunami, the very terrible and very impressive, of super high magnitude tsunami happened off the island of Sumatra in the Indian Ocean. So the coast of Australia, that is in the Indian Ocean, the coast of Western Australia, was hit frontally hit by the waves. But according to the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia, the other side was also hit. The side of the Pacific, the side of the New South Wales and Queensland was also hit. So the wave hit one side of Australia, proving it's an island, diffracted, hit the south. Obviously, the south of Australia was hit, and the other side of Australia in New South Wales and Queensland was also hit by the wave. So that proves that it's an island. It's really surrounded by water. Now, when it hit Antarctica down there, it only hit the bases located in the Indian Ocean, the Australian bases. For example, Davis Station, the Japanese stations that are located in the Indian Ocean of the Australian coast, of the Antarctica's coast. They were hit, and they talk about this tsunami in their websites. They mention the arrival of this tsunami in their websites. But the bases located on the Atlantic Ocean, in the peninsula of the Atlantic, or on the peninsula of the Pacific Ocean, that's the other side they don't accuse the arrival of this wave. They don't have any measurements of changes in levels or any destruction caused. Only the bases located in the Indian Ocean. The same happened to the bases located in the Ross Bay, which is in the Pacific area. So the bases located there, like Scott Base, for example, when I asked those bases, they replied to me that the wave, they just don't have any records of it. They don't have records of the wave happening there. The wave didn't arrive there. And obviously it didn't arrive there because Earth is a circle. So, and in the middle are the continents, which block the passage of the waves to the other side. The waves cannot get to the other side of the ocean there because there's a mass of land in between. They cannot hit the other side, proving that Antarctica is not really surrounded by water, but it's the opposite. It's what surrounds the water. It's the surroundings of the water. So the water cannot wrap around it. The waves cannot diffract around it. They are killed within their limits, within the space surrounded by the circle of the ocean where it is formed. If it's formed in the Pacific, then all the circle around the Pacific, including the Antarctica down there, is where the phenomena will hit. If it happens in the Indian Ocean, then only that circle around the Indian, for example, the coasts of Australia, the coasts of Asia, and the coasts of Africa, and the coasts of Antarctica down in the south will be hit in a circle. So only though that circle space will be hit by the wave, and the wave will be killed within there and will not be able to diffract around it, just as it is written and stated in the book of Job. In the book of Job, it talks that the waves, they will stop there. God stops there with the border. The border kills the propagation of waves. And the propagation of waves help us indeed understand the real cosmology of Earth. So I hope the information has been helpful to those who are trying to understand the real cosmology of Earth. Waves and wave diffraction, they help us really understand that Antarctica is not what they tell us. It's not surrounded by water. If it were, then the waves would prove it. The waves would hit the other side, as they do with Australia or any other island. Any other island will have the diffraction. So Antarctica is definitely not an island, not surrounded by water. Even though they call it a continent, if it's surrounded by water, it's the definition of an island. So the tsunami waves, they prove us otherwise, even though the narratives are that we live in a spinning ball and Antarctica is surrounded by water. The reality shows us that it's not. It's a different thing. So Antarctica is then a big surrounding with islands in between, which islands in the middle, which is the natural barriers for the waves. So when the waves take place in an ocean, only the surroundings of that ocean, including that little part of the border, will be hit by the wave. Proving that the shape of the Earth is actually a circular shape with land in the middle, blocking the passage to the other side. So that's why the other side is not hit, because there are masses, continental masses in between, blocking the passage of the wave to the other sides of the border, to the other edges of the border. So only 1/3 of the border is always hit by a tsunami. So if the tsunami happens in the Pacific, only the Pacific part of the Antarctica coast will be hit. It happened recently also in 2010 or 2011 when the parts of the Antarctica in the Pacific area were parts of the Antarctica walls were destroyed. Part of the glaciers there and the walls there were destroyed by the tsunami that happened back then. But the bases in the Indian Ocean or the bases on the other side of the peninsula in the Atlantic Ocean also do not mention the arrival of that tsunami. They don't have any records of that happening there because there is no diffraction. It doesn't hit the other side of it. Basically, that's it. Okay, tsunami and wave propagation is really a very interesting way for us to see from a different perspective the reality of our cosmology. Thank you very much, and a big shout out to my friend No Fanfare in Australia that was hit by the tsunami in 2004. A big shout out to my friend No Fanfare.